Hello, this is Vance, and this is Wednesday, March the 25th, 2015, and these are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. I had a slight computer problem last night for trying to do the daily report yesterday for the final update, and so my NinjaTrader reloaded and all my things just disappeared, so I had to redo it today. And that's why I didn't do a report for the 24th, which was yesterday, Tuesday. I did the Monday report, but I didn't the yesterday report. It was pretty straightforward yesterday. If you have any questions, let me know. But today was the DOE report. We had another build, 8.3 million barrels, I believe it was. And I've got that marked in here. A couple of decent trades, but after that build, you can see that even though when price failed right in this area, it dropped down and then so the news that came out that's built, it's really kind of bucking the trend in that respect. You would think that conventional wisdom would dictate that because we have so many large builds over the course of, I think it was the 11th week in a row, that there was a surplus of production in the U.S. over usage. And we were over an 80-year high as far as storage in the U.S. is concerned. Now, you would think that against that backdrop, we would have a fall in oil prices coming back down, but that hasn't been the case. In other words, in fact, price went up and made an assault on $50 today, despite the fact that we had those bills. So let me take a couple of things. Let me show you a couple of things that I've taken some snaps of. One thing I want to talk about was the 1440 chart, and I've used this in the past. I've talked about it in the last couple of weeks or last couple of sessions, like last week, of course. You can see that this is where, remember I was talking about this area here where price wouldn't probably fall below $50 because it wasn't trading that line. Well, it fell and it dropped down to $43, and that was the week before last. And now we've got this recovery. And so this is the last 5 trading days. You can see that price is trading up from a low of 43.97. It's trading all the way up. And if you look at it, this is where the low has been. And you can see this is the low price. It's both sold to done. Now, where are we heading tomorrow? Would it be likely that we're making up over $53? I mean, right now we made a high today of 49.46. So, again, I've talked about this. I'm probably might be sick of listening to it, but the fact of the matter is that $50 oil is too cheap. There's more. A lot of companies can't produce at $50 oil, and unless they can't stay that for an extended period of time, things are already shut in, and there's going to be a choking off of supply, which inevitably will raise prices. When will that happen? Well, I think that part of the solidity and the creep back up to $50 a barrel after the dip below 44 is an indication of that. I think that it's no secret. The conventional wisdom is that you can't produce oil economically at $40, $50 a barrel. It's got to be higher than that, regardless of where you are. Now, in the short term, as you have the short-term pain of individuals like shutting in oil wells and so forth and not trying to produce $50 a barrel oil, but there's no new wells being drilled for $50 a barrel. I can assure you that that's not, I mean, there's virtually every single major drilling project in Western Canada has been suspended. They're completing the ones that are already in place, but there's no new money being spent. There's been reductions in the amount of lines of credits to extended to oil companies. There's no new investments. The price of oil companies as a whole has declined significantly. There's been a couple of deals that have washed out because of the fallen oil prices that were started before December, but here we are in March, and they've just basically flatlined those deals because the companies are looking at the fact that we've got $50 barrel oil. And remember, before December of last year, it was over $100 a barrel. So those are challenges that companies are facing right now, but it's short term. And I believe it's going to be the price of oil is going to have to recover. I mean, it's not just my belief; it's pretty much the industry's belief. And if it doesn't, we are going to there's going to be a significant shakeup and realignment of the cost of oil is concerned from an economic standpoint. But that's neither here nor there. We're just looking at the daily movement in prices. But I'm saying that $50 is too low. I think it was too low. 44 is definitely too low. Too bad you couldn't have gotten in on this area and kind of held it all the way through. But like I said, I trade on a daily basis. It's not, it doesn't really matter where it is, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind as you're looking at the charts. Okay, so my bias is typically bullish. Let's take a look at a TPO. I haven't shown one of these things for a while. For those of you that are familiar with it, this is market profiling, and this is like the TPO, time, price, and opportunity. And what you see here is you're seeing that anytime you see the price trade is between these. This is where price traded most of the time for today. Between these, this is the extension, and this is the most volume occurred at the price of 48.19. Now, toward the end of the day, price moved up, and you had thinner volume. So does that mean that we're going to be heading up higher tomorrow? I don't know. Hard to say. But when you look at this and you look at the chart for today, you can see that most of the day was spent in here, right around the report, and then it was toward the end of the day where prices moved up. So let's talk about that. So let's take a look at the chart. Well, the first real trade that I saw, and the trade that you saw was just after 9 o'clock. Now, keep in mind, I've talked about this quite a bit. As we lead up to when they're going to make the oil announcement or the DOE report, typically price will start to move sideways. And so the New York opens at 9 o'clock for crude oil trading. The announcement comes out at 10:30. So anytime after 9:30 to let's say 10:30, that last hour is really, it's not, I wouldn't say critical, but typically depending on if the market is unsure, you probably see a lot of sideways action. We'll talk about that. So here was this is 9 o'clock. You can see price move back down to this area. I thought this was a decent trade because I drew this trend channel in off the morning. Prices pulls back. You can see that it's not really two pullbacks. I guess you can make that argument. First pullback to here fails. Second pullback to here. But more importantly, once the price comes to this area, breaks the EMA. Looks like to me it looks like there's support right across this area, somewhere in that neighborhood. And as long as your stop is below here, looks like a bit of a trap. You got room to get out, so that's why I think this is a trade 15 ticks up, and it really shoots right out of there. It was just right after a few minutes, just before 9 o'clock this morning, 9 a.m. or just around 9 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. See it right in here, 9:05, 9:08. So 9:05. It was just after 9 o'clock. Price moved down to here, and this is like a few minutes after. Price comes shooting out of here. I mean, I was thinking that maybe we'll retest this area, but when you look at it from a measured move standpoint, it was almost a perfect measured move. So price moves off this bottom right here, moves to, let me just mark this up here, right to here. Oops. Pulls back down to here, fails, pulls back again, and then from here, moves up. So it really got to this area. A little bit more hesitation in this area just prior to 9 o'clock or prior to 10 o'clock. But, you can see that from a measured move from this area. This is too early in the morning, but even still, you can see that this was a second entry long right from down here. But this is like 7:30, and I wasn't trading at that time. You see first pullback, second pullback here, second entry long. And even this is a measured move. So let's take a look at that. I'll show that to you as well. So yeah, price moved up. And the first pullback to here fails. The second pullback to here, and then moves out of here. Now it's off a doji, but look at this. Almost perfect move up to here. Extended a little bit more. And pullback right to here. Now, can you consider this a pullback? You could. And so could you consider this a second leg of the pullback and actually a third leg? Yeah, you can. The thing is that you have to limit in on this one because it's not a really good bar. It's a doji. And then when you have this movement up here, you don't really get a chance. Oh, it was better to wait because this is right at 9 o'clock. And so if you waited, just wait for the few minutes until things become a little more clear after that initial rush of the opening. It would have been fine. So price moves up to here. Now, why do I like this trade right here? Well, if you look at support across here, you can see the double bottoms right across here. Price moves down, fails. We're away from the EMA. So we have right across these tops here, it looks like a hesitation, or it looks like this area right here looks like resistance. Can we break through this top level? So you can see prices double top here. Price moves up and down. This is a double top on a shorter time frame. Price moves back down to here. And right to this area, this is a second entry long off of this one. First entry, pulled back, second entry long. Now, it's off of right here. Let's see if I can see it. Right here, pulls back to here. If you would have entered here and held on, you had one doji come out, and then it was a trap. So it would maybe encourage you to hold on to that. But what I'm saying is that because this is right at this bottom and because this is a doji, that's why I marked this in green. And the other reason I marked it in green is that now it's just 10 to 10. So once price moves up to here, if you can get this much out of it, then you'd be fine. But price, as you can see, price moved up here. You get your 15 ticks off fairly quickly, and then it went sideways, and you probably have to close it. So it was only really good for that 15 ticks, only good for a scalp. There was no real runners on that one. So now we have right at 10 o'clock. Now, right at 10 o'clock, last half hour, 45 minutes, a half hour, you can see, look at all this overlap, really anticipating what the reports are going to be. You can see it traded very tightly until we had the report 8.3 million barrel surplus, and look what happens. Price drops like a stone right at 10:30, almost immediate. Flashes down, 2 pullbacks up to here, flashes down again, and another measured move. I've got it marked here, so a measured moves down here. The thing is that when the news just happens more quickly, price moves down to here, pulls back to this area, pulls down here, and look at this. Almost a perfect two-legged measured move off of this one. So this is second entry short right here, first pullback, second entry short, but this is 10:34. And the trade in this area, I mean, you never know. I mean, it happens more rapid. I mean, maybe an aggressive trader would have taken that trade. We're after the support. I mean, we've got a strong move up. I mean, you got to remember that from 10 o'clock, this is 10:30, and this is 4 minutes. So we've gone from a high of 48.23 down to 47.63. So we're looking at over 50 ticks, almost 60 ticks, really rapidly. Price moves up from 64 back up to 09. So I mean, there's another 40 ticks. Rapidly goes up here and then falls off, and these are all in 4 minutes. So that's to be able to trade. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to trade, but you have to be very sure-handed. You have to be very clear what your goals are. You have to have your stops in there really quick. I mean, it's just a little bit too quick for most traders. Price gets down to this level, and you can see once it gets down to here, again, meets some resistance. We double bottom at the bottom here. I marked this trade. It's a second entry long off of here. It's a fairly strong bar, but it's at the bottom of this channel, and again, it's 20 minutes after the prices come out. Whether or not, with that big build, we might continue to fail down lower. It does turn around on a regular day. Do you take this trade? I don't know. I didn't like it that much, but I mean, I didn't take this trade. I didn't like it that much for that perspective. Even though it's a strong bar, even though on a regular day you probably take that trade every single time. But looking for those 15 ticks, you don't see this is gonna. I didn't see this coming, but certainly it had a significant amount of strength out of here. It really busted out of here very rapidly, and so it took back basically everything that came off from this one. That surplus, it pulled all the way back, and it pulled almost the entire period back. Generally speaking, when you have a run like that, you're going to have a pullback of some kind, and so this is what a bit of a correction right here, and so this is a second entry short. But I figured there's going to be enough room to get back to these double bottoms at the very least, or maybe retest. And this one worked out. You get your 15 ticks off, but it was only good for that, and that was all there is to it. Price breaks this trend line. This is a first pullback. This is a second entry long right here. This turned out to be the trade of the day. Got in here kind of low. Made sure I wanted to get as much room as possible, so it was eliminated. I marked it in blue, and the only reason I marked it in blue afterwards is that it's within that 15 tick stop box. It's a great setup, but I was set up a little bit earlier, so I was a little bit more aggressive on this particular trade. I was expecting off of these bottoms here and off of this touch, that we were probably good for at least for a move. We had lots of room to get out, like 15 ticks, and this is one that just kept going and going and going, and that was really the case. So you get it on this trade here. Here's another opportunity. Let me just move this up a little bit off these tops. I marked this one in green. It looks like there's a first move up, another measured move off of here. Because look at it. If you're looking at this for a move, let me just move this right here. Measured move. Price moves up here. You have this first pullback, second pullback, and you're looking for another measured move like this. Okay, and look where the hesitation, I mean, there was a slight pullback here, but then we had a hesitation here. We had this pullback, and this is a continuation pattern. Price trades up into this range, and then traded up and out of this range. And in both of these cases, if you're looking at where the support is along here, I think it's pretty clear that you can see from these tops, from earlier today, right here. Let me mark that. See if I can get that in there a little better. Okay. So you're looking at these areas here. There's a double top here, right here. Okay. So there's a significant support. There's real action around here, even there, arguably. You know, prices, buyers and sellers, right at these resident in these areas. So you extend this out to here, you can see that there's resistance here. There's resistance here, so it looks like support here. Support in this area. Support, 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 support. So maybe resistance along these tops, okay? So resistance here. However, if you look at the majority of the move has taken place off of these lows. It's moved up this here. You got this 2 measured moves, and now if you're going to say where would this move be, do you think it would be failing in this direction, or would it be failing in this direction? Now you don't really know. So what do? You either sell here, okay, or you buy here. Now the key with these, and I never really did mark any of these because the selling areas, to be able to sell, you have to be down here, and because we had this strength up, and because of this chart here, particularly the chart what I showed earlier is a 1440 chart. When you look at all of that, I'd have to say that the bias has to be up in that case. I mean, it's worth taking. Got room to get out here. I mean, not to say that you don't have room to get on this bottom here. You do, but I'm thinking that because this general trend is up, that we're at least going to be for the 15 ticks. And here was another trade that was the opportunity. Now, if you're in here and you're riding this up, you just keep your stop below this one as it moves up, and then you could have gotten most of this move. Okay, so you've gotten most of this, especially up to here in this area. Now, my first target, I'll show you where my target was. When I got into this trade, my target was right here at the just at the 56 mark. That's where I was looking at it for. As far as that's what I thought it might be, somewhere in this neighborhood, 56. Let me show you this. The move was from here. It was going to be up to here. That was the first move. And now that I've got a measured move up to here. Okay, get this measured move up to this area, or even to here. First pullback, second pullback. And I thought it was going to be around this area. As you can see, it's kind of like here's a move within a move. And you can see that when we got this resistance here, this would be the target. Now, once it broke through these tops, once it broke through this area, you see it moved much higher, and you can see it moved up here, pulls back, and then moves up higher to here. So my idea was that it was going to be at 56. So getting in on this trade pretty early and holding on to it. And it really turned out to be a good trade. I took a snapshot of it. I didn't record it. I just took a snapshot of it, so I just got it right here. Now you can see 44.77 was my entry, and I had my target up here. I hit my target at 48.57 right at here, and so that's what I was looking at for this particular trade. I moved it up. Once it got to this area, this is where it kind of pulled back. It blew through here so quickly. I mean, I was here. I had it right below here, and before I had to move, I thought if there may be some hesitation, but it just whacked me out there right away. Had I had a little bit more time, I would have probably extended my target a little bit higher, but I didn't get a chance to, so that's where it took me out. Anyway, another opportunity to get in here. This is later in the day. This is like quarter 22. You can see there's a couple pullbacks. It's an aggressive trade, and I mean, if you're in something like this early enough, you really need to take a look at this one. But what I wanted to point this out is that there's another measured move here. And, the price moved up to this area. We have this pullback, first pullback, second, and then we're going to extend out. I think we just ran out of time. I mean, this is at 2 o'clock, and right when 2 o'clock rolls around, things are getting slowed down. Then we pull back off this high. So, I mean, it was a really good day from that perspective. As soon as the market, so go figure. Once we had a sell-off from that, but even since then, so from the low, 47.38, we made over $2, and we did that mostly from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So price is moving up. So I think we're at. It's premature. But I think that price has really found support. Just below $50 or somewhere in that neighborhood, and certainly from those charts that I've shown. Anyway, that's it for now. It's been 20 minutes, so I've shown you today's chart. I showed you kind of an overview of a TPO, and you just give me an idea that what am I doing? I'm just showing you that I know something about market profile, I guess. Showed you the demonstration snapshot that I took. Showed you the daily chart and what I was thinking as far as longer term alliance as far as prices are concerned. And so I hope this is giving you some benefit. It was pretty. If you got on the right side of the trade, it was really a bullish day today. You could trade against the grain here. I mean, there's some selling pressure up here, but it didn't really look like that to me. Once price found support, it started moving up higher, and we'll wait and see how the things go now overnight. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Anyway, this is Vance. It's been 20 minutes now. That's it. Bye for now.